Welcome to the Authentic You podcast with Louis Bazan. After 25 years as an accountant and transitioning into property rental investment, I found my true passion, helping you discover your purpose, unlock your potential, and design the life of your dreams. This podcast is dedicated to empowering you with the tools and mindset needed to achieve freedom, purpose, and financial independence. Join me on this journey of personal growth, spiritual enhancement, and living an epic life. Let's dive in and create the life you were meant for. Our guest today, Javier Pena. Javier's leadership journey began in 1997 when he was hired to lead a choir of individuals with mental and physical disability who had never sung or played instrument before. They defied all expectation and transformed into a dynamic performing band. Their remarkable story was captured in the award-winning film For Once in My Life, now streaming on Amazon Prime. The film was selected by the U.S. State Department for worldwide screening and led to an invitation to the White House. After 15 years with this group, Javier discovered that music reveals powerful leadership principles that transcends traditional boundaries. From this insight, he created Leading in Tune, a leadership development program integrating leadership and music principles rooted in neuroscience research on music and the brain. His program has influenced national nonprofit and Fortune 500 companies, helping leaders integrate music principles to lead their teams like an orchestra and create a culture based on harmony. Welcome to the Authentic You podcast. This is your host, Louis Bazan, and I am honored today to have a special guest. Our guest today is a conductor, speaker, and he plays piano like an angel. Emotional maestro of the human spirit. Help me welcome Javier Pena.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you, Luis. Thank you.
I was impressed with your presentation. St. Pete Beach Toastmaster meeting. And later on, I saw the movie for once in my life, and wow, it's amazing. I cry because it's very emotional.
Yeah, it's an emotional story. Yeah,
it's beautiful because how you turn people who didn't know nothing about instrument, nothing at all. They weren't musician, and you turn into this dynamic orchestra. Where do you come from before? You start all this project in 1997. I want to know where you come from and a little bit about your beginnings.
Yeah, thank you again for the invitation. It's really a pleasure to be with you and your audience. I was born and raised originally in Caracas, Venezuela. I studied music there and moved to the United States in 1995. I was already had my degree in music and was looking for another degree here in film and television production, which eventually I completed. While I was here, I was going to school. One day I received a phone call from a friend who was telling me about this part-time position. They were looking for a choir director. At the time, I had a young child. 2 years was my son, and as a new immigrant, was trying to make my way here.
And I was going.
Yeah. And I was working different jobs and going to school, and I got this opportunity. So I went to the job interview. My friend didn't give me details. He said, well, they're looking for a choir director. It's a part-time position. Just call this person and go there. When I got there, that's when I realized the choir they had was a traditional choir they had for many years. It was part of the recreational program of the people who work at the factory. And the people who work at the factory were people with mental and physical disabilities. because I was a trained musician at the time. I said, "Well, yeah, absolutely, I can do this job." But when I got and I saw the choir that was made up of people with mental and physical disabilities, I said, I don't even know how to communicate with these people. To be honest, Louis, at that time in my life, I haven't even had a meaningful conversation with someone with a disability. And I said, this job is
No
not for me.
experience, no experience at
No,
all.
I don't know what to do this job. But something happened when I got into the practice room that was part of the interview process. There was a black piano there that barely kept tuning, and they were there again, people with Down syndrome, autism, intellectual disabilities, visual impairments, cerebral palsy, all kinds of disabilities. They were there. The piano was there. I got there. I was nervous. I didn't know what to do. I started to play. So when I started to play, something happened. They started to smile.
Whoa.
And suddenly the piano became our translator, our bridge of connection. And at that moment, the disabilities that existed disappear.
Beautiful.
It was a moment of connection between human beings. The disabilities then were removed because from that point, I never saw them with disabilities. And that allowed us to connect that bridge. That's the power of what music does. The choir was there, but we needed to make them sing together. They needed to find their own voice. And what happened was that we worked with the choir for about a year or so, and I started to notice something that I never seen before. First of all,
Interesting.
something yeah, something came in me, inside of me, that I was not expecting. And it was that I for many years, Louis, I had this desire when I was going to a school of music and playing music in my country. I had this dream that one day I was going to be conducting a large band,
Nashville.
like
Oh,
with a
something big.
brass section,
Wow.
keyboards and guitar, a big choir. But honestly, it was just a dream. But when I got and I started to notice these people, I realized that these people have raw talent. They had great passion and an enormous desire to make music. And those elements allow me to consider, and I got this crazy idea at the time that says, well, maybe this is the place. Maybe these are the right people. And maybe this dream that I had could be achieved here. Because sometimes we have a dream in our minds, and a part of that dream, we think in a logical way that the dream is going to be accomplished in this way. We have a mental process. If I do A, I get to B, and then to C and
Yeah,
D.
yeah.
But many times, and sometimes, those dreams don't come in a way that we expect,
Comes in a mystery way.
in a total different way. And I think each one of us need to be open to how is it going to happen, and maybe you haven't been able to accomplish, and it's still in your heart somehow. What if you reimagine how that dream is going to be? What if there is a different way that you are totally not expecting?
Not.
I think the most important thing is to know not what you are missing, but what you have. What do you have in your hand? What is that you can touch right now? What I had these people in front of me.
With the tools
I
you
didn't
have, what you can do,
exactly,
because
exactly,
people exactly we spend so much in our life thinking about what could I do if I have this, if I would, if
correct.
I, and
Yeah,
what you're
yeah,
saying, amazing.
yeah, yeah. I don't have this. I don't have this.
I don't have this. Why
Therefore,
are you spending
I
so
cannot
much
do
time
this.
in that?
Yeah,
You're
but
gonna get nowhere.
yeah, what do you have in your head? I mean,
What I
if
have is
you
the
look at
question.
yeah, if you look at epic stories and in the history, whether great prophets, let's say Moses, for instance, he just had a rod in his hand, and that's all he had, and he thought he didn't have anything, but that was the catalyst for him to
Was it?
fulfill his purpose in life. Sometimes, in history, you find ways that people don't have all the resources that they may think, or that the world tells you that you need to achieve X, Y, or Z, but is what do you have in your hand? What is close
Wow,
to you? And realizing that was the perhaps a new way. And this group really exceeded all the expectations. And you have to keep in mind that these were a group of people that society often overlooks, Luis.
yeah, mental and
Society
physical both.
exceeded all the expectations, and we were able
Wow.
to create a large performing band with almost 30 people on stage. And during that time, we realized we had a very unique story, very special story to tell, share outside of our music room. And we started to document that story, and therefore that we created a film that you mentioned earlier called For Once in
For
My
once in my
Life,
life.
that we
Beautiful. I watched
created
it
a film.
twice. It was
Yeah,
amazing. Mhm.
yeah, it is, and it's on. To our surprise, Louis, it became an award-winning film.
Wow.
It was officially
But it's
selected by
powerful.
the.
It's a powerful movie.
Yeah,
You know, it doesn't have
it
to
is.
have a special effect. Like I said,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
best movies are the one who touch their hearts and see the possibilities and in impossible. I don't know, you
yeah,
know, something that is
absolutely.
incredible,
Yeah,
but then it becomes available, becomes real.
yeah,
Amazing,
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. That was. I mean, the movie was selected by the State Department to be screened in U.S. embassies around the world. So it's been in over 20 countries, and even the band got the honor to be invited to the White House. So never in my wildest dreams, coming to this group, I will ever say, "Okay, we're gonna
Wow,
create a band, and then we're gonna make a movie, and then we're gonna go to
you
the
didn't
White
have
House."
nothing of that in your
Nothing,
mind.
absolutely nothing. So I think that's why sometimes it's just taking the next step that is in front of you,
Yes.
always looking at that desire that is in your heart and connecting with your life purpose. What is the life purpose that you have? And be open to
You were
explore.
open to receive
Yeah,
that job, even you say no, but that you say, let me open, let me check out this opportunity. Let me, okay,
yeah,
I'm going to work, I'm going to hire, you know, be hired for these people, and let me try. And you were open, and that's what brings you all these beautiful blessings in,
yeah.
and even your dream, achieving your dream of
Hmm.
being conductor
Yeah,
of a big
correct,
orchestra.
correct,
Amazing, amazing.
correct,
I like
correct.
the way you describe it, because for our viewers, in it's exactly what I want to. It's about them. It's about being authentic you, and being you. You can achieve your dreams.
I worked with this group for 15 years. I left the band. The band continues to make music with a new conductor, a new director. But after 15 years, I moved out of the band. It was a hard decision to make because, we started something from,
Yes.
from scratch. But I thought it was a time, I felt it was a time to be called to do something different. And what I was starting to do, I discovered during this time that I was with this group. First of all, they taught me so much. They taught me how to teach them, and the life lessons that I carry with me after being with them for all these years, over a decade, was what really transformed my life. And I discovered in that period, Luis, that music has powerful leadership and life principles that apply anywhere, regardless of musical ability. And because people look at music as an entertainment tool, or maybe something that makes you feel good, that is part of life. But when you look at music, music is present in every area of our lives.
Everywhere.
It's the human experience. There is music in birthdays, weddings, romantic dinners, sports events, funerals, church, everywhere. Everywhere there are humans connected. So the lesson that I learned here is that those principles of music could be applied to life, and we actually apply to leadership. And that's why I started this an organization with that teaches leaders, that is called Leading in Tune. And I've been
The
working with
program.
leaders
Yes.
uh,
Your
for
program leading
about
to.
a decade. And then we help leaders integrate the music principles into the leadership, so they can lead their teams like an orchestra, to create a
Yes.
culture based on harmony. What you were saying earlier, that was very interesting, because when you look at the model of the orchestra, it's a model of life. Even our bodies function as an orchestra. And when you look at the orchestra, you have different sounds and you have different instruments being played that creates the signature sound of the orchestra. And every person in the orchestra has an instrument to play. One of the most important things, if we translate this into leadership or into life, every person has an instrument to play in life. You have been called to play an instrument. Now, what I discovered is that people, and I would love to share this story with you, that there is a girl is in the film. Her name is Melissa. She is a young girl with Down syndrome.
I
When
know.
Melissa came to audition for the band, she didn't have any musical experience, zero musical experience. We did a test that measured her sense of rhythm and also her ability to carry a tune. The ability to carry a tune, that part of the test, unfortunately, Melissa didn't pass it. However, in the sense of the rhythm, she totally blew it.
She
I
was,
mean, she really exceeded all that because she was like a human metronome. She had this precise
metronome.
rhythm.
Yeah.
She was just amazing. And then she made it to the band. And I remember we were in the room with there were different instruments. We have brass, we have keyboards, we have all kinds of instruments.
Okay.
And then I asked Melissa, again, this girl with Down syndrome, I said, Melissa, what instrument would you like to play? And as you said earlier, I didn't want to tell them you need to play this, or that, because I wanted them to discover that by themselves. So when I asked Melissa, zero experience in music, I asked, what instrument would you like to play? And I remember that she looked around and she
Look,
fixed her eyes on the corner when we had a big set of congas.
the conga.
And now Melissa is very tiny, is a very tiny girl. And she looked at the congas and she looked at me and looked at the congas. And
I
then
look
with
the
a,
conga. Look at you
yeah,
again.
and then with a great level of confidence, she said, those are mine.
Those are mine.
Those
Like
are mine.
they
That's what she
mine. Not
said.
like lend me. Can I borrow your congas? Not
Yeah, I
Wow.
mean, those
She was
are
empowered.
mine.
Wow,
And
that's
look at
powerful.
the look at that powerful statement.
Powerful
She didn't
statement.
even know what was the name of the instrument. She had no idea that was conga. She didn't know. However, she felt attracted to that and she responded to that calling. And other band members that, I mean, and actually, when you see Melissa, I was a little concerned because she had tiny hands, and the congas, could take a toll on your hands. But she learned to play that instrument, and not only that, but she also learned to play the tambourine and other percussion instruments. When you watch the film and you see Melissa, you know that she's playing her instrument because I haven't seen any
Wow,
conga
she was
player,
boom. Bah, I
even
saw her like right,
professional,
like tuku tuku ta.
yet playing it with
Very
the
good.
passion and the precision that she does. She's just
Yes.
amazing. Other band
Yes.
members, Luis, were when I asked the same question and they passed the audition, other band members, and I said, "What instrument would you like to play?" And some of them were not as quickly to identify their instrument like Melissa was. But I never told them again. And I said, "This is what we're going to do. We're going to explore the instruments in 2 or 3 weeks. Where I'm not going to even teach you how to play. I just want you just to go to the trumpets, hold the trumpet in your hands, go to the guitar, put the guitars right next to you, kick the drums. And during that touring, it was like a tour of the different instruments. After that 2 or 3 weeks, I asked the same question. What instrument would you like to play? And they chose whatever instrument. I want to play the saxophone, trumpet, or whatever. And 99% of the time it worked because it came from their hearts. It came
Wow.
directly. They felt connected to that and they allowed their true self to make that choice for them. Nobody else was making that choice. They made that choice. And of course, they needed direction, they needed the guidance to learn to play the instruments.
But when it
And
comes from the heart, when it the
yes,
vortex, when I think when the energy, sometimes we use energy from other people or we are trying to mimic others. I mean,
Yeah.
something that I really learned in life now that I'm old is when that energy comes from inside of you, that passion, that thing that just come from you, that's just born from here. It's a vortex of energy that just
Yeah. It
born.
is.
You don't get tired, you know. You don't. You can do that. Yeah, you're human. You're gonna get tired maybe if you do play more than 8 hours, but you can play longer. This is what I think about. Big guy play guitar, and you see it back
Mhm.
here, and I love sax too, and I love piano, but I don't know how to play piano. But when I play, it's like, oh my God, it's so many things for me. Means so I resonate so much into this because I told you I was a dancer, but I'm actually
Mhm.
dancer since 10 years ago. You know, I started dancing, but I've been playing guitar and singing at the same time that I love. This is my passion since I was 12 years old. So
Mm.
it's like, I really understand where this energy comes from you. Like, you don't, you just want to play, you just want to be there. And there's no time, there's no lab or, it's amazing what
Yeah.
music can do with you and the brain and the relation of the brain and the music. Talking about the neurons and your project, your program of
Mhm.
leading
Yeah,
into.
and just to make sure, we're not talking just about music. The point is that it could be accounting if that's your passion. It could be painting. It could be sports. Could be whatever. We're not restricting this experience to music. When I'm talking about finding your instrument, I'm not talking specifically about music. What I'm saying is that you have a voice that needs to be heard, whatever that is, in whatever profession, career you may want to explore. And I find that people in the coaching
Okay.
that we do and working with organizations and leaders in different teams, I find that people confuse what is an instrument. And I
Yes.
think it's important to clarify that.
Instrument could be
Your
my body when I dance.
Yeah,
Boom, ba,
exactly.
ba,
But a
boom.
lot of people in the corporate world, they think that their instrument is their degree or their title.
Yes,
Your
that's
instrument is
very,
not
very.
your
No,
degree,
that's not.
is not your title. Your instrument is the vehicle that allows you to express what's inside of you.
Yourself.
For instance, if you like poetry, it's not until the time that you take a pen and start writing or publish something that people are able to see and in a tangible way get what's
Your
inside of your
talent.
head, what's inside of your heart, that you are using your instrument. So that instrument is the bridge that allows you to again channel what you have inside of you.
Wow, nice. Very nice.
That is the connection that I think a lot of people miss. And is not your title, is not your degree, because people say, okay, I have this
It's not your
degree.
title. It's not your big bank accounts. Not
No,
your exotic
it's not.
cars.
No, because it's none of that,
Oh my
because
God. Right, right,
it's
right.
really what is in your heart that you want to express.
Right.
You have inside of you, as you were saying earlier, an energy, a
Oh,
desire. And
I
using your
really
instrument,
understand.
yeah, using your instrument is about using that channel, touch what is inside of you.
Oh my God,
And
that's beautiful.
something that we uh, need to reflect in life, I think I like to encourage, is that your instrument in life could change. When you look at the life of Mozart, he played the harpsichord, the piano, the viola, the violin.
That's
He
all
was
over.
not defined by those things. He was just Mozart. A more
But just
modern example is Stevie Wonder. He plays the harmonica, he plays the
yes,
piano, and he's a singer. And I
incredible.
think he plays the bass as well and the drums for sure. But he's not defined by the instrument.
By
It's
the
just those
instrument.
different channels. Is instrument is what allows people to see
Just the
what's
tool. Just the tool. The instrument.
exactly. It's like the tool.
What's some of the biggest challenges you faced during that period of the building this orchestra? When you were conductor trying to build it, because I know it was 15 years, and I know, I don't know, I think it wasn't easy. Yeah, what are those biggest challenges that you
Well,
faced?
I think, thank you. That's a great question. I think the biggest challenges that we face were not them. They learned to play instruments, and they also learned to work as a team. Two different things, two different kinds of abilities. Because when you translate this to the workplace, I don't think in many companies talent is the issue because they people have talent, but most in most cases they don't know how to work together, which is a different skill that is needed. What I think one of the biggest challenges for us was to let people see that this group was able to do it. And I remember that when we were building the band, we started again as a small choir, then a small band, then it started to grow, to grow, to grow. And when people came to tour the place and hear the band, I remember be, this was before the film, that it was the band was just this group in this music room. And when people came to the room, Luis, you could see the body language. People were not expecting that much and all that. Just this is a group of people with disabilities who are here, have some instruments and all that. But when the band that actually works, it worked in our advantage because the expectation was so low
Solo.
that when the band started to play, it just
Wow.
blew them away because they saw how well they play, the precision, and again, they were not
Yes.
expecting. I think breaking that barrier of what people expect from other
Respect.
people, I think that's the biggest challenge
The
that
big
that I
oh.
mean that the band had, and I think is the challenge that people have in general.
Okay, winning an award and achieving recognition are a significant milestone, you know.
Mhm.
And what do you think made the story resonate so strongly with the audience? You know, the movie and the audience, leading to its selection to U.S. State Department and for worldwide screenings.
Mhm. Yeah,
That's a big
that's a
question.
great question. Yeah, I think. Well, I was in a film festival. I'll tell you a story. I was in a film festival when we were releasing the film, and I had the honor of meeting the movie director of several of Jim Carrey's movies, like Liar, Liar, Bruce Almighty, Ace Ventura. Then the director of those movies.
Incredible big movies, like everyone
Yes, they are
you know
great
about them.
blockbuster movies. The director of those movies with Jim Carrey is called Tom Shadyac.
I'm checking.
Tom was in this film festival, and he was screening a documentary that he did called I Am, and we were screening once in my life. When I met him, I was really surprised because he approached me and he said, "I love your film, dude. I really love your film." Hollywood director,
Yes.
this is a mega blockbuster director. Tom is a very intelligent and very insightful man. And he asked me a question that I was not prepared for. He said, Javier, it's obvious that you love people and you love music, but why did you spend all these 15 years working with these people? What is the reason? And I
Wow.
thought,
A great
well,
question.
yeah, I
I
love
love it.
people, I love music. I thought there were
You
the
didn't, I
evident
guess,
reasons,
wow.
right? But
Why you
I
spent
had
it
to do
50
some.
years?
Yeah, I mean, I had to do a soul search, and I couldn't answer at the time. And I remember that night I was just having trouble sleeping, just thinking about, what.
You were sleeping. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, just
Yeah, I
kind of
mean,
thinking.
yeah, it just think and
It
actually as a
makes it
director,
makes you think. Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
And so,
yeah.
and the next morning, because the film festival was like 3 days or so, and the next morning I saw him at breakfast, and I said, Tom, I think I got the
Oh,
answer
you got the answer.
for you.
Nice.
After a lot of self-reflection, I said, Tom, I think the reason why I stayed with this group for all these years and felt so connected to them is that when I started to look at them, I realized I was seeing myself reflected in them because I
Whoa,
realized that I also have disabilities.
we all have. That's the truth.
Some of them don't see, don't hear well, or are slow to process information. We are the same. And I said, when I saw them, I'm seeing myself. I'm seeing myself there because I also have disabilities. The reality is that the people that we call disabled and the rest of us, the difference is that they wear their disabilities on the outside, we wear the disabilities on the inside.
Oh,
We wear them on the inside.
oh.
We don't want people to know our weaknesses or the things that we're not good at it or our own disabilities. But something that I learned working with this group is
Mm-hmm.
that you don't need to hide your disabilities because we spent
Mm-hmm.
a lot of time, energy, and effort
Hiding,
pretending who we are
pretending.
really not. And when we
Wow.
pretend who we're really not, that takes
Not
a
being
lot of
authentic, right?
you. It's totally inauthentic and it takes a lot of energy just to be
Mm-hmm.
someone that you're not.
Mm-hmm.
But when you embrace who you are
Who you
with your
are.
flaws and
Mm.
everything, then your abilities emerge. And that's
Emerge.
exactly what
Yes.
happened with
Yes.
this group.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And
Very,
I think
very
that's the
nice.
reason in us at a subconscious level that people identify with this group because again, these are people that society didn't expect much from them. And
Exactly.
how many of us at some point in our lives we
Mm-hmm.
have been told when we were kids or younger or even adults, you are not going to be able to do this, you
Oh,
are too much,
you're.
you are too whatever, you
That's
are
not
or
for
you're
you.
not
You cannot
enough,
do that.
or you're not enough, you know, you're
You're not
not
enough.
too
Mm-hmm.
skinny, too
Mm-hmm.
pretty, too young, too old, too rich, too
Mm-hmm.
smart, you're not too whatever. And then
Yes.
that is the struggle that a lot of us really
Have.
face in life
Yes.
and is seeing that what this film, and I highly encourage people to watch the film. It's on Amazon Prime. You can stream it there.
I buy it, yeah, on Amazon. Mm, it's
Yeah,
very, very
this
easy to find.
this story really puts a mirror in front of you and says, well, if these people can do this way that is connected to who you are, your true self,
Mm-hmm.
and the call that you have in life to play your instrument and show who you really are and be your true self. So that's I think that's the reason why this story resonates with so many people.
Oh, amazing. I love the answer, and believe I believe that that's what the world needs. Being more authentic, be more ourselves, and just do what we love from our heart, because that way we can reach our full potential. You know, where we.
Yeah.
I have another question. Can you tell me about the invitation to the White House? What was the experience for you and for
Yeah.
the Congress members?
Thank you. That was a big surprise again. The preamble to that was that the the State Department has a program that is called American Film Showcase, when they select films, including Academy Award winning films, to show what is the American life around the world through the embassies. And our film, when we released it, it went through the independent film festivals and started to win audience awards and South by Southwest, which is a very recognized film festival, and a bunch of awards. And then, including that, but actually it was best documentary in the Independent Documentary Association in Los Angeles. And then when the State Department chose the film
Mm-hmm.
to screen in embassies around the world, then there was a connection with someone from the White House, and we were really surprised to receive the invitation and got
Wow.
honored. And as an immigrant, I never thought I would have the honor to be
Mm-hmm.
there, invited as a guest, and the band members as well. And it was a moment to see that every person is important. Every
Mm-hmm.
person is a VIP. I personally don't like to use VIP selected to just a group of people. I think every person is a VIP, and being a VIP means that you have value, you are very important, and you have a reason why you're here, and you have a sound that is unique, that
Unique.
only you can
Only
play,
you. Only
only
you
you
can bring. Yeah. Only you can bring those values to the table. You know, to the right.
correct. what happened is that in a piece of music you find both. You find consonant sounds and you find dissonant sounds,
You find it
and
all.
they are intertwined. And because that's exactly what makes a good song together. I mean, that's what creates a very good song, because it introduces the tension and then releases the tension,
Release and
introduces
always
the tension and releases the
release.
tension. That's why you feel that emotional journey when you're listening to your song. Most, I mean, I would say popular songs have that combination of consonance and dissonance. And the big lesson here is like, I love the quote from the legendary Frank Zappa, the legendary guitarist. He said, listening to a song without a flow of tension, it will be like watching a film, a movie with only good guys in it.
Yes.
We wouldn't really enjoy a
So
movie with only when
no, no,
everybody's
because don't
good
don't
and
have don't have excitement, don't have
exactly
struggles
right.
like
There's
the,
no tension and struggle, right?
so we
So
can put
music,
this in our life, right? Because
absolutely,
it's actually
absolutely,
life.
eh,
If you see.
absolutely. Because the lesson here, if we can walk away with one lesson, is that harmony is not the absence of dissonance. And I will say it again,
Harmony
harmony
is
is
not the answer.
not the absence of dissonance. And
Yes.
this is very important because we spend most of our lives, time, energy, and effort
Effort
trying to get rid of the
to get
dissonance.
it out.
And dissonance is
Are
just
part
part
of the
of
game.
life. It's something that you cannot avoid many times. The focus is, and I call in the program that we do, when you think about music, people put themselves in two categories: music makers, and where are the musicians that